David joins us here in the Man Cave. Good to see you. Had a little accident last night with the Tabasco sauce in your crotch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not deliberate, although it looked like it.
And I didn't have the accident with the Tabasco sauce. I'm just saying you had the accident.
Yeah, it was my Tabasco on my crotch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Need to be. It was odd getting into bed last night. Yeah, strange sensation.
Yeah.
You've got to leave yourself alone.
what did you shower before you got in?
I didn't shower. Not a complete shower.
Okay.
Sort of a waist down.
Like an area
And
bath?
yes.
Undercarriage.
Yes, toilet area.
Yes. Okay. Good to see you.
Nice.
Glad you stopped into the Man Cave, and it was fun dinner last night. You were telling some great stories, as always. Some that we can't say on the air, right?
Pretty much.
Most
I hope not. Yeah.
I do want to ask you about this Golf Digest situation. This spoof interview, parody interview, Dan Jenkins,
Yeah.
who's been covering golf for 50, 60 years, I
Yeah.
think. So he does this parody interview with Tiger Woods. Okay, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. Tiger was very upset. Should he be upset? Should he just say, this is kind of funny, I get it? Was it heavy-handed with Jenkins, who hasn't had an interview with Tiger?
I think I would be upset. Certainly haven't read the art. I mean, it's mean-spirited and not particularly funny.
Yeah.
I did a similar piece when Roger Clemens was going through the drug hearings with Henry Waxman and Congress. I thought it was ironic. Henry Waxman, whose district is I think Pacific Palisades. There's no drugs there, along Venice Beach or anything like that. And it was about Tiger and Tim Fincham and a congressional inquiry into drugs in sport, that sort of thing. But it was much funnier and not mean-spirited. So
But do you think, is it open season on Tiger?
it's always been open season on Tiger. People just
Well, not when he was winning, it wasn't open season, because everybody was nervous if you went after the Golden Goose.
well, it's open season, but they're much more positive. About him. It's always been.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I always tell people that Ernie Els or Jim Furyk or BJ Singh or whoever, they can shoot 74 or 5 and come out of the scorer's area, and there isn't a forest of idiots with microphones and reporters that want to talk to him for an hour afterwards. Every single round that this guy has played since he was 19 years old, there's been that forest of idiots with Mike, and I've been the first one on a lot of occasions, and just seeing him go through that after every round, and we just wore him out with it. His remarks taken out of context and used against him and all sorts of things, and he was never particularly good, at representing himself. I would love to be able to show the side of him that I know to people. He's funny. He shows up at my Troops First events, unannounced, just no cameras, no nothing. Spends, half a day with these kids. If they've got no legs, he'll hit it off his knees. If they've got one leg, he'll hit it off one leg. Quite frequently gets his ass handed to him by a wounded Green Beret or, whoever. And, he's just, he's been badly represented, and he's not great at representing himself. He's good at a lot of things. It's not that.
Has he enjoyed this?
Has he enjoyed
his life?
Yeah,
because he has everything, but I wonder what he really has.
Yeah, I didn't think I ever would, but I've kind of felt sorry for him. Certainly on occasions. And this latest thing, bringing up the fire hydrant and the divorce. Really, have we not heard enough of that? I interviewed Bill Clinton. I didn't ask him any Monica Lewinsky questions. We spent $42 million of our money trying to find out the answer to a question that we all knew anyway. And he just got worn out. And
would Golf Digest have done this 6 years ago?
Would they have done it 6 years ago? No, it wasn't in their best interest at all. I'm not sure if it's in their best interest now.
Talking to David Feherty. Feherty. I've been practicing that. Because normally I would say David Feherty.
Yeah, you see, my family, which is extremely small, my father and my Uncle Jack, they were the only two. They couldn't even agree on how to pronounce my name. I mean, Feherty was the way it was pronounced in Ireland, but my Uncle Jack, pronounced it Feherty, which is much more phonetic.
Well, what do you want?
I don't care, as long as they spell it right on the check.
Feherty. Oh,
yeah.
Can you do an American accent?
Well, I'm not real good at it.
Are you trying to be John Wayne?
I don't know who the hell that was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was heavy. When you first came to the United States, how heavy was your accent?
Oh, it was much, much, much stronger, But
women like that accent, don't they? When you were on the European tour.
When I was in the European tour.
And you were playing well.
Yeah.
Did women like you if you went to a bar?
Yeah.
And they heard your accent?
Well, it was usually, if I was in a bar, it was usually fairly slurred. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I suspect, people like the Irish accent in general because it's sort of understandable. At least most Irish accents are. There are regions, excuse me.
Did you meet women because of your golf or because of your personality?
Neither. I really.
But you were good. Right? You had your moments on the European tour.
Yeah, I mean, I was never going to be...
You were the Tiger Woods of the European tour, weren't you?
No, not exactly. No, I was never going to be, one of the top, in the top echelon of players. There's comfort in mediocrity. If you keep your head down, and you can't be mediocre to play the tour for 20 years, no matter which tour you're on. But, you've got to be pretty good at the game. But I had a couple of chances to win major championships, probably 3 or 4, and it was always that moment on the back nine on Sunday where I had a putt that would really give me a real chance to win. That in hindsight, and only it was several years after I quit playing, I look back and I didn't make it. I didn't want to. I didn't want the responsibility that came with it. I didn't want people to think of me as that kind of a player because I knew here that I wasn't. I wasn't going to work hard enough.
So you had a fear of actually being great.
Fear of success.
Success.
Yeah, which is actually much more prevalent than you would think. Yeah. I believe.
Well,
fear of
you
success.
Look at David Duval got to #1
and didn't realize he didn't want it. And Baker Finch won the Open in 1991, and then couldn't hit the sea off the deck of an aircraft carrier with his driver, and he was a phenomenal player. Still plays well, as does David Duval, but just you got to play so well.
You got to be wired differently.
Oh yeah.
We'll continue with David Feherty. I want to ask you the first time you saw certain golfers. Your first impression when you saw.
Okay.
Certainly John Daly, Arnold Palmer.
Oh,
hold your thought. Yeah, hold your thought there.
All
right. So we'll come back. David Feherty or Feherty from the
Whatever.
Golf Channel. David Feherty from the Golf Channel in the New York City Man Cave, or I should say the Milford Man Cave. Our golf simulator here as he was analyzing my swing, and I must have a fear of success because I shanked one.
You did. You clean piped it.
But a clean shank.
It was.
Does like all the great golfers, does Tiger shank?
Oh yeah.
I mean, not just his drive where he hits it 300 yards to the right.
No, I mean, the shank is, where you catch it in the hosel and it goes at 45 degrees across the face with...
but everybody does this.
Yeah, and quite often you can do it 3 or 4 times in a row. And people will say, it's the closest thing to a perfect shot. I mean, I've heard that so many times. No, it isn't. It is not.
The best golf shot you ever witnessed?
Oh, of the best shots I've ever witnessed, if I were to take, say, the top 20, Tiger probably has between 12 and 15 of them.
Where does Bubba's wedge shot out of the pine straw at Augusta?
It's there, yeah, for sure.
Given what was at stake.
Yeah, the timing,
yeah,
it was amazing. Tiger's chip in from behind 16 at, given the timing. The loudest noise I've ever heard in a golf course, probably.
Well, that's what people don't understand. The noise at Augusta, when you're there, the trees kind of, amplify it. So there's just this cacophony of sound there.
It's down in the hollow there. It's not quite the lowest point on the golf course, but it's pretty low. And you're surrounded by, the hill up on the 6th tee and the 15th green. If I turn around in my tower in 15, I'm almost on the front edge of the 16th green. and it's right down there.
I didn't even know you were there because I usually go to the 16th green, and I set up shop down almost at the bottom of the green, the far side of the green.
Yes.
I usually just sit there and watch everybody come through.
Yeah, it's a great place to watch because you can see where the tee shots land on the 6th hole. You can watch tee shots on 17. It's an amazing spot. But when Tiger chipped in from behind the 16th green and it sat on the edge of the hole, the crowd got so loud. Whenever my tower, which is the tallest tower in the golf course, it began to ring like a tuning fork.
So it was vibrating?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. It was the most electrifying moment that I can remember in the Masters in my 17 years.
Okay, so first time you saw, let's start with John Daly.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one sentence. First, when you saw John Daly play golf.
I can't do that in one sentence. I was leading a tournament in South Africa by a shot, and I was drawn with John Daly, and he's a skinny kid with a mullet on the first tee. And I went to the turn in 29, and I was still leading by a shot. And I thought, who is this kid and why won't he go away? And he ended up beating me by a shot. And he said to me at the prize giving, on the 18th green, he says, you want to come to my room afterwards? I'm going to have a party. I remember looking at him and thinking, that's a bad idea. I'm going to do it.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I did.
How'd you do? At the party?
At the party, I don't remember anything really for about 5 weeks.
He was good.
Oh.
Was he better than you?
No.
At partying?
No, I have a constitution of a yak. I could drink more and do more stuff that was bad for you and appear normal than anyone I've ever met.
Well, you find that people who drink or do drugs, they're able to. Part of the job is to hide it.
Oh yeah.
And some guys are really good at doing it.
Well, people didn't know I had a problem until I showed up sober one day. It's like, what's wrong with you?
Did you ever go out with Arnold Palmer?
Never went out with Arnold. No, I played with him 3 times in my career. I remember every shot that he hit.
How nervous?
Oh, the first time I shook his hand, and it was like shaking hands with a warm alligator.
He's got big hands.
Big hands, and they're crusty, with play. And he just, but he exuded this. He had this aura of greatness that I've very seldom felt from someone. There was an electricity there. Arnold had the ability to make you feel like, you were a friend of his.
What about Jack Nicklaus?
You know what? You feel the same greatness, but you see it in Jack's eyes. There's that penetrating blue stare that's different, and it's more intimidating. Meeting Jack, and I think Jack suffers fools less gladly than Arnold, but the two of them are very similar in other ways. That competitive spirit and funny. I mean, Jack's very funny. He really is. It was a great sport on my show doing the opening where I was actually in the I don't know what that is, the Intercoastal Waterway or whatever, behind his house, and I had a shattered eardrum at the time and had forgotten about it. So I jumped into this brown water there, and all I could, and I'm going for a fishing lure underneath the water, and Jack's yeah, okay, I got him, and he yanks it out, and I come out of the water, like this, all I could think of was my ear. But he was great fun, and always has been.
So we're doing this interview later for Feherty.
Yeah, it's going to be like revenge for me.
Okay, is your goal to make me cry? Like, what are you looking for here?
What I try to do in the show is people have a conception, of what people are like. It's a preconceived notion, based on what they see on television or hear on the radio or both here. And if there's another side to that person or an aspect that maybe the public isn't aware of, I like to try and show that. And that's really for me. I've got a list of questions, and my minions have done research and all the rest. But I'd basically ignore.
How many
that.
ESPN questions am I going to get, just so I can kind of brace myself?
Um,
Over, under,
I
10.
yeah, I don't know. I'm probably under.
Okay.
Yeah,
Keith Olbermann questions?
none.
Oh. Now
I
there
wouldn't think.
Okay.
What?
No, I'm thinking this might be a short interview. I don't.
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, I can dredge up.
But don't make me cry.
No, well, I'll try not to.
I know.
I might weep myself if if it sucks.
Do you ever have this discussion about American sports fans, European sports fans, the difference between us, how Europeans approach soccer, like the passion that's there as opposed to our passion? Is it different?
It is.
Like the way of life, the stadiums that are right there in the towns, what it means, because it means more, I think, to the people in Europe than it does to us.
I think there's a similarity between the great sports towns in America, of which there are none south of the Mason-Dixon line and west of Chicago and Detroit. A great sports town to me is one where the entire community is heartbroken when the team loses. So we were talking about Boston,
Yeah.
Philadelphia, New York. Well, I mean, New York doesn't need other people to hate their teams. They hate their own teams.
Last time you were heartbroken with a sports story team?
Oh, I really don't care that much about sports. But I mean, there have been a few times, watching Jean Van de Velde
At the British Open?
At the British Open was pretty heartbreaking. The World Cup, the soccer. I remember, I'm trying to think who it was. Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't recall who they were playing, but they lost a match that was just, I mean, they couldn't.
They got roughed up. Was that Germany?
I think it was
Paulie?
Germany. Maybe
Yeah.
they scored in the last, 60 seconds or something, and it was totally against the run of play.
But so nothing in Northern Ireland, nothing with the Irish.
Nothing in Northern Ireland. I mean, I won the Ulster Championship by 18, which was heartbreaking, I think,
For everybody else in the field?
Well, yeah, but there were sheep in the field, Yeah.
If we're playing one course
Yeah.
before you die, where are we playing?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I'm from County Down, and there's Royal County Down, which might be the most beautiful golf course in the world. But I think it would probably be St. Andrews for me.
Have you played Augusta?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How did you do?
I think I finished about 40th. I only played in it once. I finished 6th or 7th or something in the PGA Championship, the one that John Daly won, and they took the top 8.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to qualify for the Masters from Europe for most of my career. You had to finish in the top half dozen or play on a Ryder Cup side. And when I played in it, it was because I was a Ryder Cup player and, the finish at the PGA Championship. I was blown away by the golf course.
But aren't
far
you
too
the
much
kind of guy that they want to keep out of Augusta?
Probably.
Yeah. Were you on your best behavior?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
yeah,
were?
well, I mean, the players have a different respect, for Augusta. It's the one major that comes back to the same venue every year, and people have that same preconceived idea that they know, what it's like. It's very much different. It's the best golf tournament in the world. There's no question about that.
On CBS.
Well, it's on CBS.
I know. I'm just working on my voice there.
Goes without saying.
Yeah. Did you guys really pipe in bird sounds at Augusta that weren't really there?
I don't know.
That's not a denial.
No, it's not a denial. No.
Do you think that they could have put fake birds?
It's entirely possible.
Like birds that weren't indigenous to Augusta.
Entirely possible. I would imagine it wouldn't be the first time it's been, done on.
Let me throw it out to you because I'll never get to host. So if I'm Jim Nance,
Yeah.
hello friends. How does that? I mean, just right there. Is that hello friends sound all right?
No.
It didn't sound warm.
No, well, there's more of a hello, friends.
Oh, stretch it out.
Well, yeah, and
on an uptick.
yeah.
Hello, friends.
Yeah, that's there. There you go. That's much better.
The leaderboard is crowded. And let's go on to David Feherty at 16. David.
Let's not. No, McCord's at 16. So there's pointless going there.
Oh, wait, where are you?
Oh, you mean...
We're at Augusta.
Oh, and I'm at 15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah, I'm at 15.
Well, that was awkward. Let's go out to David Feherty at 15. And Tiger staring down a birdie putt. David?
Well, probably going to make it. You know, see, the thing is, I limit myself because you don't really need commentary at Augusta. People are familiar with what they're looking at. You know, so there's punctuation. I like to think of it as that, and it's the one place throughout the season that we actually get to be silent. And people aren't silent anymore. You know, you allow the pressure, the tension to build up. You know, you hear the white noise. One of the great moments in our sport was 1970. Doug Sanders on the last green at St. Andrews, where he missed that little 3.5 footer to win the tournament, and he let Jack Nicklaus in the playoff. But Henry Longhurst was he had the
great announcer
call, yeah, and didn't say anything while Sanders was over the putt. And all you heard was this white noise getting louder and people clearing their throat in the crowd and change jingling. You know, and then he bent down and picked something imaginary off his line, and then everything moved except his bowels. And and he misses it, and Henry says, "What a pity."
You're right.
You know?
The ability to let natural sound play a role.
Yeah,
lost.
when was the last time you had 5 seconds of dead air even in a football game? I mean, if it's a field goal, you know, a long attempt. I mean, let the tension build up. Don't say anything. It drives me nuts. You know, but then I'll watch movies. Watching a radio show is an interesting concept to me, but I listen to movies rather than watch them sometimes. It helps you use your imagination. I mean, I'll be in bed and I'll have one head on the pillow, like listening to a movie, and I try to imagine what's going on because I'm too lazy to sit up.
I look forward to this interrogation coming up later on.
Well, I'm not sure if I'd look forward to it.
No, I do. I'm curious. You got me curious
look
now.
Forward
Your
to
line of questioning.
Looking backwards.
Wait
a minute. What are you doing with my questions?
I don't have your questions.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. David Feherty. You can see it every Tuesday night at 10 Eastern. Zach Johnson will be his latest guest. All right. I got to go.
You do?
Well, I got to have you go.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you can stick around if you want.
I'll be around.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
It's nice to watch the master at work.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.